So welcome to you all once again to our Mass here from the Parish Church in Abbeyfeale, West Limerick. Wherever you are this morning, we welcome you and we want to let you know that we include you very much in our prayers and in our thoughts at this Mass. And I know that there are people from Abbeyfeale in particular probably linking in with us from all around the world. It's a very special day in the lives of all families. And it's particularly challenging this year for those who are unable to come home. So we offer them our greetings from home and we hope that they will have a reasonably good day. Well, it's Christmas morning and I suppose in a way we've just about got here. In years gone by, we know that the only scramble for tickets in Ireland was for the All-Ireland in Croke Park. Well, this year the scramble for tickets was for Mass on Christmas morning. And it is great that we have a number of people here from our own parish, in a way representing people from around the parish and other churches, because we are restricted in our numbers. There are many people who would love to be here, but not possible because of the dangers with the coronavirus right now. This past year, our lives have been dominated by the coronavirus, and we are in the centre of a storm that keeps turning and twisting on us. This morning, I want to share a story of hope with you, because I think that's what we're all searching for this morning and at this particular time in our lives. We need hope, and Christmas is the feast of hope. It is the celebration of hope. And the story I will share with you is a true story of events that took place in October 2010, when the world's media drew our attention to an incident in a mine in Chile in South America. Some of you may recall it. Miners became trapped below the surface in the wilderness of the Chilean desert. 33 men spent 69 days trapped underground. The first 17 of those days they had to endure with no contact whatsoever with those on the surface. The Chilean government worked with international rescue teams to devise a way to bring up the men from the collapsed mine. Eventually, an engineering feat was found and they moved along with rescuing the 69 men. And I remember staying up late into the early hours of the morning watching Sky News as the miners were raised one by one to safety. We all sensed the emotion as they were united with their loved ones. The joy of the miners and their families was palpable. These men, who had been through an ordeal that we cannot even begin to comprehend, came through with their faith in God intact and even strengthened. Some of them told the waiting world media that they survived by putting their trust in God and by working together and using the various gifts that they had for the benefit of the group. I believe there is a lesson in all of this for our time. Working together and relying on our faith in God, we can begin to overcome all adversity. That even in the depths of our troubles, when all hope seems lost, we can rely on God to journey with us. The miners in Chile emerged from darkness into light after 69 days. At Christmas, we celebrate the Feast of Light. Jesus is sometimes referred to as the light of the world. And the world of 2020 is a dark place for many. For many in our communities, there is great fear and anxiety. For our parishioners who are on the front line today, as in other days, there is huge commitment, dedication, and we admire and applaud them for what they do for us and our families. But they too are anxious what could befall them. For others, loss of work or a reduction in income has made life more difficult and uncertain. Elderly people, many of you listening this morning, feel isolated more than ever. Young people have been robbed of those years of adventure, freedom and fun. The future is uncertain right now, and in a way we all feel powerless. And along with all that, people have had to deal with their own troubles. sicknesses, bereavements, troubled relationships, and what we might call the normal issues and problems that challenge us all the time. For the people of Israel 2,000 years ago, the situation was equally bleak. The Old Testament readings at Mass over the past 4 weeks of Advent speak of darkness, turmoil and disappointment. But they lived in hope that God would see them through their darkness. In truth, they never gave up. They kept faith. They trusted in God. And then God intervened in a way that they could never have imagined. The greatest event in human history, which we celebrate on this feast day. God sent his Son, born in a stable, who lived among the powerless to be our Saviour. And I think especially this year, we can identify with that powerlessness and that vulnerability. But God is with us, just as he was with the vulnerable in the crib. God is no longer hidden now, but he is visible. Because Jesus is born, God is no longer distant, but near. He is no longer a notion, but a person. And Jesus has entered our history. He has shared our journey, and his greatest gift to the world is hope. Many of you will be familiar with the saying, where there is life, there is hope. And that's a saying we often use to encourage each other, particularly when we are challenged, particularly perhaps when we feel vulnerable or when life is at risk. Where there is life, there is hope. And this is the hope that encouraged those miners in Chile to stay calm, to persevere, to work together when they were powerless and trapped 700 metres below ground. It is the same God who gives us hope, the God who listens when we cry out in despair, the God who brings light into the darkest corners of our lives. Last night at our Christmas Eve Mass, we heard these words from the prophet Isaiah, and I think they're so apt and appropriate for us at this time. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. On those who live in a land of deep shadow, a light has shone. On those who live in a land of deep shadow, a light has shone. That light is the light of Christ. This is the good news for Christmas. This is the good news of our faith. And as we begin a new year, and as we face into yet another period of less contact with one another, let us encourage one another with this hope and this truth, that on those who live in a land of deep shadow, a light has shone. So let us be bearers of this hope and light to each other, particularly in the coming days and weeks. And in the middle of January, when we have long forgotten Christmas and we put away all our Christmas decorations, let us not forget the hope that we have celebrated today, the hope that lives with us and brings us through all the darkness of our lives. This is the hope that we celebrate. This is the light that we bring to each other, a light of hope and love and peacefulness throughout the new year. So, on behalf of Father Dan Lane here with us in the parish, indeed on behalf of all the priests around West Limerick in particular, I want to wish all of our parishioners a very happy, a peaceful and a blessed day to you all, and may God watch over you and keep you safe and protect you from all harm, and particularly the virus at this time.